We've got a new beer and a new brewery for the channel. This is a Big Organ. It's a Citra hopped double IPA 8% and it's from Hackney Church Brew Company. But what's it going to be like? Keep watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're drinking one of the last ones out of the beer dad subscription box. This is Big Organ. It's a Citra only hopped double IPA 8%, and as I said, Hackney Church Brew Company. Never had any beer from them before. Not sure what it's going to be like. Doesn't really say much on here. I mean, obviously, what else do you need to know when it's single hopped with Citra? I think it's actually, it's actually a collaboration between Hackney Church Brew Company and the Columbus Craft Brewing Company, which is in the USA. So let's crack it open, get it in a glass and see what it's all about. I like Citra only beers. I'm trying to think whether I've had a Citra only double IPA. We'll see what this is going to bring. Again, new brewery, always a bit nervous of new breweries, and certainly it's not what I'm expecting colour-wise. It's very orange, very West Coast IPA. So we've got a sort of amber-coloured, copper-coloured almost, slightly hazy, but not overly hazy. 2 fingers, I'd say that's pretty much a sort of beigey sort of head. Quite loose though. Yeah, so we're looking at a West Coast. I mean, West Coast IPA with just Citrin, or double IPA even with just Citrin, is not common. But, you know, we like something different. And here we go, we got something different. Let's see what the aroma's like. Yeah, I mean, it smells much more on the West Coast side. So you've got grapefruit, you've got orange, marmalade-y sort of aroma. And then there's obviously a lot of pine and all that sort of business going on. Right, let's taste it. Cheers, everyone. Okay. First things first, you can taste the alcohol in this straight away. Definitely alcohol there. I'm guessing here, but I think obviously with a New England type of double IPA, you get all that juice and all the different fruits, and it's a very juicy beers usually, and I think that hides the alcohol well. With this, there's not much hiding. So flavour wise, yes, like the aroma, orange is a predominant flavour here. Bitter orange, that sort of marmaladiness. There's a slight sweetness coming in, but there's also a lot of bitterness sort of fighting against that sweetness. It's light. I'd say there's a little bit of zippy carbonation, but I wouldn't say it was fizzy. You wouldn't describe it as fizzy, but it's difficult because it's so light. It's difficult to really sort of describe it as soft. It's very much an American, what you call an American or West Coast IPA. I mean, it's obviously a double IPA. You don't usually get Citra. Citra's hops is used loads in New England. I wouldn't say that you'd see a single hop Citra West Coast. That's why I was quite surprised at this one. It's almost like, I mean, when you think of Citra, for example, you know, you think of like lemons and grapefruits and that sort of stuff, and also tropical mango, passion fruit, those sort of things as well. But with this, orange, passion fruit a little bit. I wouldn't even say grapefruit really, which is also the thing that you get. Pine needles in there as well. Obviously, there's a slight, resinous sort of quality. I don't think the bitterness is as harsh as probably what people want from a West Coast IPA. There is that slight dry bitterness on the back end, but it's almost like it doesn't really know what it wants to do. I wouldn't call it a no coast IPA because it's much more on the American side, but at the same time, there's not much to it. It's orangey, and that's about it. You're not even getting a big hit of pine. Pine is in there, and resin and all that sort of stuff is in there. There's a bitterness and dryness in there as well, but it's too subtle for it to be really effective. So what you're getting here is a bit of a meh sort of flavour. It's okay, but it doesn't do anything for me really. It's just a beer taste really. Beer taste with a slight orange tinge, dry, bitter, slightly piney, and that's about it. I mean, I think this is why a West Coast don't do it for me. There's no complexity in flavour. It's almost like you get one sort of hit. If you like your beers very sort of down the middle of the road, sort of, straight down the line as it were, and you know what you're getting. There's a flavour. It's beer flavour with stuff. This is a sort of thing, but especially with a double IPA, you get 8%. You want a bit more complexity. You want layers and layers of flavour. And you're not getting it with this. You're getting the alcohol and you get an orange. It's drinkable. I've had West Coast before, which have just been so bitter and just harsh and not pleasant that you can't drink them. But this is drinkable, but it's just like liquid going beer. It's not what you want from a craft beer. You want more. You just want more. I mean, that's exactly what I want. I want more. I'm less wanting with this. So yeah, not much else I can say. So let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for Big Organ. This is a Citra double hopped IPA. I had high expectations, but again, you get a new brewery that you're not sure of, and you're always left little bit disappointed. And I am disappointed. Yes, it's more of a West Coast, which I was expecting more of a New England type of beer, but it's not a great West Coast. It's very it's very one-dimensional. And the scores are representing my feelings about this beer. So start with aroma. Appearance. Flavour. Value for money. Obviously, it's an 8% double IPA and I paid £2.70 something, 73 and a half or something like that I paid. So that's pretty cheap. But if I'd paid £6 for this, I would have been very disappointed. And finally, my overall experience. So we tot the scores up. We're getting the Bon Jovi of craft beer. Boring. It's just a bit the same all the way through. There's no complexity. We got a total score. Housewife's favourite number, 69. It's just not great. I don't like it. And this just shows why I'm not a big fan of West Coast IPAs. You need a very, very good one, where I think with New England IPAs, you can average and still get a good beer, if that makes sense. I think with West Coast, there's no hiding place really for averageness, and this is very average. It's drinkable, but I don't want orange, and that's all. It is almost like orange has been the only flavour. I don't like those orange flavours in beers. I like the lighter, brighter citrus, lemons, grapefruits, limes. I like tropicalness. I like, mango and passion fruit and pineapple and that sort of stuff. And I like the New Zealand sort of stuff brings something else as well. The grape, the gooseberry, the melon, all that sort of stuff. But this is just orangey with a bitter pininess on the back end that doesn't really go much and doesn't really cut into what you want as flavour. So 69 Bon Jovi of beers. It's a poor beer. And you know what? The last beer I've got in the fridge is another. I know it's a West Coast IPA. It's a Pomona Island. I left that one till last, but it's going to be similar to this. But I think Pomona Island make better West Coast IPA, so we'll see how that goes. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the Beer Dad subscription stuff. We started off really well and I thought it was really good, and we have gone downhill pretty much ever since the day one. The two beers that were the Uranus double IPA and the Demon Engine one from Azvex were both very good. In fact, the two that I didn't review were up there, I think, with those as well. Wow Sharks and the I can't remember the name of it, but the double IPA from Daya. They were both very good. I should have reviewed those. So a little bit disappointing, but still, you know, I think I've got good value out of this box. So please give it a thumbs up if you like the video. Please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. We're getting close to Christmas now, so hopefully with some interesting, different, new, big, double IPAs, probably Christmas beers, you know, coming up. So or sort of festive beers, I should say. So until the next one, you know what you do. Drink a craft beer and keep on rocking.